last video about fractions, we're going to look at fractions of amounts. Now, fractions are a really useful way of sharing things out equally. So you may be in a restaurant with a couple of friends, so there's three of you all together. The bill arrives and you've agreed to split this between the three of you. So you need to find out what a third is, and a third is obviously a fraction. So this calculation that we're going to cover will come in useful. You may go shares in something, buying something with friends, and again, knowing how to find out fractions of amounts is an important way so things are shared out equally. So I'm going to cover the principle for finding out the fraction of amounts, and it is relatively straightforward and largely based on stuff that we've already done. So hopefully this should make a lot of sense. So in this example, we're going to look at what is 2/5 of 40. So another way of putting this is 2/5 multiplied by 40. So mathematically, we can write this as 2/5 multiplied by the whole amount, by the 40. Now, what's really useful is that 40 can also be written as 40 over 1. And we can write integers, we can write any numbers like this over 1 because 1 goes into it and doesn't change it. So it's a really useful way. And it comes in particularly useful in working out fractions of amounts. So we can rewrite all of this. So we just copy this down here. We then multiply it as before. But instead of writing just 40, we can write down 40 over 1. And so this equals multiplying the numerators, 2 times 40, multiplying the denominators, 5 times 1. And so this comes out as 2 times 40 is 80, 5 times 1 is 5. And then all you need to do is divide 5 into 80. And you can do that by the bus stop method or whatever. So when I've done a bit of a calculation beforehand to save time, but 5 goes into 80 16 times. So the answer to what is 2/5 of 40, the answer is 16. So what I'd like you to do is have a go yourself. So here are some examples for you to work through, and as usual, have a go at this one, put the video on pause, and then we'll work through it together, and then we can go on to another one. So if you want to put that on pause, put the video on pause now and have a go. So hopefully you've had a go at this. All you need to do is to apply this principle. So another way of writing 30 is 30 over 1. And then we get rid of that and we put multiplication. So this equals 1 times 30 over 4 times 1. So 1 times 30 is 30. 4 times 1 is 4. And when you divide 4 into 30, you get 7.5. So the answer to what is a quarter of 30, the answer is 7.5. So put the video on pause and have a go at this one. Hopefully you've had you can apply the principle that you used previously. So the first thing you do is that 60 becomes 60 over 1. Get rid of the off and you multiply it. So this equals 2 times 60 divided by 3 times 1. So this equals 2 times 60 is 120. 3 times 1 is 3. And when you divide 3 into 120, and again, you can do this as a bus stop method in the rough section. You can sort of draw this out or whatever away from the main answer, because then it might get a bit confusing. So 3 goes into 1 no times. Then this becomes 12. 3 goes into 12 4 times. And 4 3s are 12. Take one away from the other and it's 0. And then there's the remaining 0. So that's 40. So have a go with this one now. Okay, welcome back. Let's see. We're getting to be old hands at this. So do this in our sleep almost. Get rid of this. So this becomes 3 times 75 over 5 times 1. So what does all this equal? So 3 times 75 is 225. 5 times 1 is 5. And then when you do the calculation through the bus stop method or whatever, you find out the answer is 45. So hopefully you got that value. So one final example, just put the video on pause and then come back. So let's do this now. So again, 90 over 1. Get rid of that and you put a multiplication. You then multiply 4 and 90, multiply 7 and 1. So 4 90s are 360. 7 times 1 is 7. And then when you do the calculation, like with the bus stop method or whatever, off to one side, you eventually find that this is 51.43, rounding up. So hopefully you got all of those right.